What's going on YouTube? County Ains back here again with some more, you've guessed it guys, Andrew Tate. So this one's Andrew Tate explains why he became a Muslim. You know, shout out to Andrew Tate, you know, mashallah to Andrew Tate for becoming a Muslim. I myself am not a Muslim guys, but for those who don't know, I was actually born in a Muslim country. I was born in Abu Dhabi, which is in the United Arab Emirates. It's right beside Dubai for all Westerners that don't know where Abu Dhabi is. It's in the same country. It's like a city in the United Arab Emirates. I lived there till I was about 6 years old, and literally I have nothing but the best praise for people that's, you know, that study Islam, Muslim people, because they are literally some of the friendliest people I've ever met in my life. My dad and my mom lived there for 15 years, no trouble. I was born there. I remember always, you know, hearing the call to prayer and, you know, waking up to the call to prayer. I think it was 5 times a day. And I actually put out my videos 5 times a day now, guys. So I actually try and, it's funny, my brother just told me recently, he goes, maybe you put out 5 videos a day because it's the same as like the call to prayer every day. I didn't even think about that. Really interesting, you know. But no, Muslim, I mean, Abu Dhabi was amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing. No crime whatsoever. You know, my mom would have me in her arm going in the mall. They call it like the mall back in Abu Dhabi. It's kind of like kind of Western. And, you know, you had, you know, people coming up to me, you know, Muslim people giving me money. It was amazing, guys. I was absolutely, I have nothing but absolute love. I've been to many of my friends in college iftars, which is like the end of the fast in college. And they were all praying. There was about 10 guys and me. You know, they were praying. I was playing the PlayStation. I was kind of interested watching. I actually stuck to the iftar as well. I didn't eat with them until obviously it was time to eat. So it was really fun, guys. I love that whole you know, religious thing. I think, you know, obviously I'm a Christian, but living in these countries, they didn't mind, you know, very accepting of people. So when people ask, oh, why aren't people accepting in Western world? I do kind of like cringe a little bit. I'm like, bro, people that are in Eastern countries are very accepting as well. You know, people in these countries are very accepting. You know, I remember I used to walk home at 5-6 years old from my friend's house, and, you know, all the men in dish dashes were going to the call to prayer, and none of them ever did anything. They were amazingly friendly, giving me money, everything, guys. So, you know, very, very peaceful, nice, kind people. But because of the media portrayed of, like, you know, terrorists and shit like that, that's always getting pushed in Western media, they're portrayed as absolute nutcases. You know, that's how it is, guys. So yeah, completely ridiculous, guys. I have many Muslim friends, you know what I mean? Shout out to them as well, man. They're definitely not watching this, but you know what I mean? I had in college, I knew one man, absolute beautiful human being. And yeah, like I said, went to all the iftars, amazing food, amazing people. So yeah, let's get to it, man. Let's explain, let's see why he became Muslim. I think before this, he was like a Christian or something like that, maybe. Or he must have been something, you know, that wasn't any religion. So let's get it, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoy my content as well. Shout out, I think Sheikh Zayed, I was just telling my brother that he actually died recently. He only died a few months ago, I think, and he was the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, or the Sheikh of the UAE, I believe. So yeah, but that was back, you know, so he was the Sheikh for a number of years. But yeah, pretty fire, guys. Let's get it.
I wanted to ask you now, because this is the hot topic, especially in the Muslim community, about your conversion.
Yeah.
So tell us the story, like what happened exactly.
Well, I think a lot of people who've been following me for a while understand that I've been very respectful of Islam for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
I was born in a Christian country. I was raised as a Christian, and I've always been very respectful of Islam. And it's become more and more obvious to me and more pertinent that Islam is the last religion on the planet. When I talk about Islam, because I'm new to it,
yeah,
I'm a little bit careful, right? Because I'm new to it. I'm certainly not a scholar. There's so much I need to learn. I know I'm on a learning journey. I'm not here to sit here and talk scripture. I don't know those things yet. I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
But
and we're here at your assistance.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's just, for me, it feels like the last religion on earth. I feel like there's no other religion. People say to me, why did you convert? And I said, I don't really feel it as a conversion. It's almost like I knew God was real, and now I've become religious. And they say, well, you were religious before. I was like, religious before how? Christian? What does Christian mean? Like, who's not a Christian? You go to Christian nations and everyone says they're a Christian. Look how they live their lives. Go into...
I mean, he's about to go in right here, guys. He's gonna go in, bro. Alright, tell it to us, Tate. Come on. Let's get it.
Meet the man who holds
hold up a sec, guys. Still more ads, man. I apologize, man. I got so many ads on this freaking thing. Let's get it, guys.
To the average church, is anyone actually fearful of God? Anybody? No, the girls are out on Saturday night drinking, and they turn up to church because their parents made them. Like there's no substance to the religion. And also, Islam very closely reflects my personal beliefs. Through my personal life, I've learned that if you don't have standards and you're not a strong person who's prepared to defend his ideas, you will be crushed.
Yes.
And we look at most religions in the world today, which are not prepared to defend their ideas. What's happened to them? They're just getting crushed. And now we have Christianity as an idea, which has basically said, well, we can't set any firm rules because everyone will just quit. So instead, let's make it so easy to be a Christian that nobody has to put any effort in. And then accept everybody no matter what. And hopefully we can keep the church doors open. That's not God to me, you know? God to me is strong. God to me is something to be feared. God to me is someone that people are afraid to mock. God to me is someone that you have to go out of your way to prove something to. God to me has red lines. Like God to me represents the Islamic faith. The Christian God to me, I don't see God. I can't explain. I don't see anything there. So to me, it was the only logical choice in the end.
Alhamdulillah, man. I mean, many, as you're saying this, I'm sure.
Alhamdulillah. Bro, I actually love Arabic. And funny guys, I actually studied up to the age of 6, like I said, Arabic, because we were living in an Arabic country. You had to study Arabic. And I remember a few things like how to count to 10, you know, and, you know, assalamu alaikum and stuff like that. And then, you know, the response as well. So yeah, I thought it was kind of fun studying that, you know, mashallah and all that stuff. I thought it was kind of fun. I could be saying it completely wrong now, but it's cool, guys. I love different cultures. I think different cultures is what makes the world great. I think that if you just, you know, worship one thing, it sucks. You know, that's why my channel is super diverse, guys. I like to be super diverse everywhere. And then you'll have people in the comments. Actually, nobody said this yet, which is surprising, but people will say, oh, you just want to be diverse to get more following. Well, in a way, it does get you more business, but you know what I mean? That's just how I am. Look at a lot of reactors, guys, or a lot of people just on YouTube. They don't really react to that stuff because they don't want to be diverse. They don't want to be accepting of anything. So there you go. Take that for what you will. You know what I mean?
Many people are like ecstatic and extremely happy. It's a great thing for everyone, honestly, because, you know, just anyone coming into Islam is you know, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us better than the world and everything in it.
Yeah.
But imagine now somebody of major influence. I mean, you're the most Googled person on the planet. I'm not sure if you still have the top spot.
I think Putin might have beat me as of last week, but I think it's between me and Putin at the moment. But I don't want to lose to Putin. Look, Putin's the big G. I don't want more enemies. Like it's fine, Vladimir. You can have it.
I never thought I'd hear you saying that statement.
Yeah,
Putin beat me last year.
Last week. I think we're certainly the most Googled.
But no, it's definitely something beautiful, and a lot of people have. You know, you'll be surprised at how many women as well. Like, because obviously the accusations of misogyny and stuff, which you know, but a lot of women, alhamdulillah, especially in the Muslim world, they're absolutely happy. In fact, let me tell you a story. Just before I came here today, one particular woman, I can't reveal her identity, but she's working as a school teacher in London, and actually, my friend told me that she was kicked out of school because they had this campaign against you in the schools. I'm not sure if you're aware of this.
I've seen, this was part of the cancellation. I did know about this.
Yeah. So in British schools, they said, you know, if you say anything good about if you say anything good about this person, or you have to be reported or prevent.
If you say anything about Tate, oh my God, bro, this shit. England's just, bro, a disaster. Honestly, it's a disaster. Like at least in America, you still somewhat have free speech. Now, do I, you know, agree with everything he says? Obviously not, guys. You can't take anyone's word as gospel. I am a sovereign individual. I'm 27 years old. I can formulate my own opinions. You know, people are crazy. They just listen to one thing. They're like, oh, I love this person. Absolutely not, guys. You know, obviously, you know, don't condone the stuff that he says about chicks. I don't agree with everything. You know what I mean? I don't agree with everything about anyone. So that's, I mean, how can you agree with absolutely everything about everyone? Like, even if you're a fanboy, like, I don't agree with absolutely everything that Eminem says. I love Eminem. Like, he's like my freaking hero idol, but I don't agree with absolutely everything. I mean, you'd be stupid to say that, right?
And if you say anything, you know, you have to kind of combat his extremism or whatever it may be, right? So because when you became Muslim, she abstained from doing that. She said, I can't really do that because, you know, Islamic laws and it's backbiting and he's got honor in Islam and so on. And unfortunately, they fired her from the position.
Wow.
So you can see that this is the level of encroachment we're talking about here. So, and this shows you that the level of fraternity that exists. And not only the fact that, you know, when you're looking at Twitter or whatever social media, it's not a representation of what's really happening on the ground.
Of course. And I mean, that's crazy to hear. And what's most crazy is, the fervor behind this idea that I'm somehow extremist is truly clown world. Like, I've sat as a professional and analyzed my content and understood which things can be taken out of context and which things were said in a way perhaps they shouldn't have been said before I was massively famous. But we have to sit here and understand that if you take anybody on the planet and give them 7 years of YouTube and then they decide and they blow up big, you're going to be able to find 30 to 45 seconds of clip across all those years that can be taken out of context.
Hopefully in the next 5 years, I've been on YouTube like a year and a half now. Hopefully in the next 5 years, that doesn't happen to me. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. And it's truly crazy because they sit and say, oh yeah, but you know, the young boys are watching your stuff and they don't truly understand all of it, and there's nuance that's missing. And my argument is very simple. My argument is, well, one, you're taking small clips out of context, and two, there's not a single piece of content on the internet that a 14-year-old boy can't misunderstand.
Yeah, exactly. And like this was the same with music. And when Eminem came out, for instance, I was just talking about him. They slated him. They didn't let him into Canada. They wouldn't let him do all these shows because they said he was influencing the people. Like rappers say the most horrendous stuff, and it's just up there on YouTube. But they see it as an artistic expression, which is BS, guys. Let's just call it how it is. Like rap, I love rap music, but the stuff they say sometimes can be crazy. It is an artistic expression, but like they're still saying it, guys. You know what I mean? You can take anything out of context, really. So
name someone who's producing content on the internet that you would be 100% happy for a 14-year-old to
control artists. And so they're saying, I mean, I live in an area I'm not going to mention the names of the artists, but they're talking about going to this person's house and killing him.
And killing him in the middle of a knife crime epidemic. Yeah. We have Lil Nas twerking on having sex with the devil in his music videos. Really? Like, we're going to sit here and talk about how children can be impressionable young children, and I'm sitting there saying there's no way I'm the worst person on the internet. That's not how they delete me.
So right. Anyone that disagrees with that, you got to be clown. Like, there's so much bad on the internet. To say that to take Tate as the number one person is just a disaster. It's because he became the most famous person, and they don't want that. They want people, just everyone kind of on the same level, you know?
The difference for them is, as you've mentioned, on those fronts, it doesn't matter to them because it's like, okay, they're consuming our hedonistic products or whatever it is. That doesn't change their worldview. Whereas what you're saying is ideological now. You're challenging the status quo of the LW, of the liberal world order. You're challenging second wave feministic notions. You are challenging some liberal notions. You are challenging ideas, commonplace ideas of tolerance. And George Orwell said it very well. He said that the more a society moves away from the truth, the more it hates people who speak it.
Absolutely, and you're right. And I think even the basic things I teach, because some people have said to me, Andrew, all you teach about is personal responsibility, motivation, working hard, getting up and doing the right thing. I said, that's the absolute, those are the things they're most afraid of. If you teach people to have standards for themselves and to be morally strong people and to know right from wrong, then they can't brainwash you. So that's what they're most afraid of.
Dog food.
I mean, guys, teaching people hard work and to work hard every day, and you know, working hard is the most important thing in life, in my opinion, guys. It keeps you away from mental health issues. Working hard keeps you on the right track. It keeps you away from dangerous activities. Keeps you away from doing crazy shit. Working hard. I mean, I'm gonna do 20 videos today, guys. You know, it's not groundbreaking or world breaking, but for me, it's that's hard work. You know what I mean? I'm making money off it, so that's my hard work. I'm also doing fitness plans for people. I'm also selling T-shirts for people. I'm trying to edit the designs in those. I'm also getting Patreon. Like, I'm doing a lot of different things, guys, and this is what keeps me on the straight and narrow. This is what keeps me kind of going, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't have that, like, I'm working a little bit part-time as well, but that doesn't keep me on the straight and narrow. Working for somebody else doesn't keep you on the straight and narrow, guys. That is not, because I can work 15 hours on this YouTube shit. I can work which I'm going to do today. I'm going to work probably even longer than that, guys. No cap, you know what I mean? So, like, that's what keeps you on the straight and narrow, constantly thinking about what I have next. When you're at the gym, you're thinking, oh, how many videos I have to do? When you're doing anything else, because when you're driving your car, you're not thinking, let me get enraged at this guy. You're thinking, no, how many videos do I have to do? What do I have to do? Did this person send me an email? Do I have to do this sponsor? You're constantly thinking about business, guys. That's what keeps, I think, people on a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going.
Waking up and going, no, I don't believe that. You have to believe it. No, I don't believe it. I don't want to. And I want to go do this. I want to go to the gym and be strong, or I want to believe X, or I want to be a moral person. They genuinely have a problem with baseline morality.
Yes. Yeah.
Understand? When some people recognize when I converted to Islam that there was a time I was an atheist. There was a time when I was atheistic. And the reason I am now so absolutely certain that God is real is because I've seen evil. I've seen shaitan. I've seen it. When you see enough evil, you realize that there must be an equal and opposite force. And there are people out there in the world today doing the work of the devil, genuine demons, who are trying to destroy the baseline morality that's inside of all of us. We're all born with some kind of morality, and they're trying to destroy it.
And that's exactly the Islamic understanding, that we believe that you're born with something called fitrah, which is the initial goodness. You're born with an innate belief, receptivity to believe in one God.
Yeah.
And then that is corrupted. In fact, there's a prophet, hadith of the prophet where he says, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. Every born child is born upon this initial goodness. فأبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. And then his father and mother or his parents, they socialize him into, you know, Christianity, Judaism, Magiism. So the idea is that everyone is born with this initial goodness and this initial will or want to believe in God, one God. And then, as you mentioned, I mean, it's what you're mentioning here is profound, because you're mentioning a central doctrine in Islam.
But it's and this is why perhaps I found God the way I did, because I understood all these things first, and then I saw the Quran, and it confirmed so many things for me. You know, like even the conversations I've been having so far, so many things have been confirmed, and it's amazing the knowledge that's inside of it, which is so applicable today for an old book, right? You know, it's supposed to be old, but it seems so timeless. But it's truly amazing. But you're totally right, and the baseline morality, I don't think most people understand that when they're doing this under the guise of tolerance, when they're saying be so tolerant that you no longer believe in right from wrong, they're not doing that to make society a better place. They're doing that to empty your brain so that you have no resistance to the slave mind programming. They want to get you to a point where if they tell you the sky is green, you look at with your own eyes and you see blue, but no, the sky is green. That's what they want. So that you have to have nothing in your brain that can prevent that. If you have God, if you have, no, I believe this is right and wrong, if you have personal responsibility, if you have self-accountability, if you're a person who sticks up for what he believes, all that's bad to them. They want all of that gone so they can tell you the sky is green. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want the stream to end, but they're going to tell you something much worse than the sky is green. They're going to tell you something else. And they're trying to program us all into slaves, and it's scary.
I remember when I was in my undergraduate days, and I was reading a particular book by this guy called Jeremy Bentham, who became, like, you know, the spiritual forefather of J.S. Mill, who is the father of, like, social liberalism of today. And I remember reading this because it was so powerful, because it linked to something I read in the Quran. He said that, you know, you have two gods. He said you have the God of pain and you have the God of pleasure. And I thought, this is so interesting. The Quran states, you know, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you seen the one who takes his own desires as a God? And because now there is no transcendental force that we can look up and, as you say, venerate, now we're forced to be slaves to the system, we're to our own desires. Or, I mean, the Quran has another verse which I think is so powerful, and it connects very well with what you're saying. It says, God ضرب الله مثلا رجلا, that God has struck a parable of a man, فيه شركاء متشاكسون, that he has got many different slave owners. ورجل سلما لرجل, and another kind of man who's only got one slave owner. God is basically telling us in the Quran that you've got one example of one individual who's got multiple slave owners, and another one with just one. He says, هل يستويان مثلا, are they the same? So here the idea is, as Rousseau said it, he's a liberal philosopher, he said that man is born free but everywhere in chains. This is the order, because if you don't have that God to worship, then you're going to end up having to worship to everything else. And the whole part of the Shahada which you took, which is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, the true meaning of that, La ilaha illallah, is that there is no God worthy of worship except for one God. Which means that your desires or the system or these people that want to control us, the problem is they're not worthy of worship. The only one worthy of our subordination and submission is the creator of the heavens and the earth. There's no one else.
I agree, and I completely agree, and I've agreed with this for the longest time. You know, I've never been to like a music concert, and people ask me why, and I said, I just look at it and I feel embarrassed. I look at someone up on a stage dancing around, and I look at hundreds of thousands of peasants in the crowd, just I'm like, it's I feel cringe. It's like secondhand embarrassment when I see these festivals and everyone's losing their mind, or these music concerts. I genuinely feel embarrassed for the people who go, because to me that is a form of worship. Like, you can listen to the music at home for free. You don't have to wait in that line and stand out in the cold. Like,
you know what's funny? He says that. It's crazy. I used to always think whenever I go to I've been to maybe 2 or 3 concerts in my whole life, which is funny coming from County Gaines. You guys think that I'd be going to concerts every single weekend. I actually haven't been to. I've only been to 2 concerts, I think, my whole life. Jeezy and Eminem. But, you know, it's funny, guys. I always thought, like, yo, I want to be the one up on that stage. I don't really want to be the one in the crowd kind of just, like, being here and just, like, Yeah, like he said, you're almost kind of like worshiping that guy, and it's like if there's someone up on the stage that I don't really enjoy, like Eminem or someone that's fire huge, I don't go to it, guys. Like I only went to the Jeezy one because I got free tickets. But like really, guys, like yeah, it actually makes kind of sense. Not that I would cringe, like there's nothing wrong with people in the crowd. What I'm saying is I just never really liked that idea. Like this guy is literally like a god, and then everyone else is just like kind of like fucking nobodies, like. And I was just like, bro, I'd rather just like I do every single day, guys. Just listen to music at home, you know. So
I don't know. Perhaps it was a bit extreme, but I've always known that they're trying to give us false idols to some degree. And when I speak to atheists, they go, "Oh, I don't believe in God," but they've signed up so hard to the liberal woke agenda. They're as religious as anybody, but they're just believing in the wrong things. They're believing in degeneracy, and they're believing in the work of the devil. So humans always need something to believe in, and it's a great thing you said about your own desires. It's like. One guy I was talking to since my conversion says it's interesting that somebody with everything, all the Western world, everything somebody could want, has now converted. And I said, yeah, because even before my conversion, I understood that hedonism is a black hole, and you can never fill it. You're never going to be able to have enough girls to be happy with girls. You're never going to be able to have enough money to be happy with money. You're never going to be able to, drink enough to be happy with drinking. Like it's a black hole, and you can pour endless things down it, but you'll never fill it up. And
that's true. I knew that for years.
Need to have some degree of self-restraint, and I've always been a very disciplined person. I've never made mistakes, but certainly, yeah, the higher power is going to give you more satisfaction in your heart than endless insanity.
Hedonism gets to kind of an extreme point where like. You're never going to have enough chicks to get with. You're never going to have enough money. It's just kind of this kind of continuous black hole where you just kind of continually go down. I agree with that 100%, guys. I'm pretty sure nobody will find a way that, they just completely gets rid of that. Like, oh, you're just satisfied with everything. It's always more and more and more. That's why you see these guys like Bill Gates and Elon Musk with all the money in the world, but they're still working hard, like 10, 20 hours a day. So, it is more of a power thing than anything. Hope you guys enjoyed that, man. Leave in the comments down below. What do you guys think about Mr. Tate turning Muslim, turning to Islam? I love you guys all, and I'll see you in the next one. Mashallah.